All right, no stream tonight for college football. Got some shit to do, but here is the video for the little 2-game Friday night slate. Getting it out nice and early because if you don't know, there's this guy named Nick, LSU Nick, and he's a high-maintenance mother father. And he said, I'm going to the Pelicans game tonight. I need you to get me that stone out early. So look at this. 2:15 I'm recording this for the big guy. What do you want me to say? I love the big guy, so I take care of him. So we're getting this out early. Really, it's going to come down to if I put this out at 2 o'clock or I put it out at 5 o'clock. I don't think locks till 7 tonight, so you got a little bit. The big thing that you got to watch is we're assuming Braylon Braxton's going to start for Tulsa because Bryn kind of was back last week and he sucked donkey dick. So, if you're making a cash lineup, the good news is I think they're only $200 or $300 apart in salary, so you can kind of already have Bryn in there and then just jump to Braxton if you get news. So there's that. I would say tonight, definitely a GPP night. Definitely a GPP night. I always go fuck around and see if I can make a cash lineup I like, but man, these are some gross teams. I think as I talk about these teams and these games real quick, you'll kind of see why it's a GPP night. And so I think I will probably be playing and the reason I'm going to play tonight is I think almost everybody's going to play the Tulsa quarterback and the San Diego State quarterback. And where I've been having most of my success in GPPs these past 2 weeks is simply just playing one of these two and then going and playing one of the punk quarterbacks. And sometimes those punk quarterbacks go off. And Justin Holiday over here from New Mexico, I know they have an 11-point total, but he can run a little bit. You never know. You never know if he's going to get loose. And then this Byron Brown from USF, we don't know shit about him. But they got a 22-point total, so maybe he goes out and gets 30 points, and you're probably going to get him at less than 20% ownership and Holiday at less than 20% ownership. Same thing I did with that Smith guy from Miami of Ohio the other night. Same thing I did with trying to remember who I had in my lineup the other night when I almost when I got, second place in the big GPP. Anyways, the point is that's why I like GPPs, because I don't think you can play Brown or Holiday in a cash lineup. I think that's actually pretty foolish. But I think they're very viable for a GPP, and they make every lineup work when you have those guys. So maybe you go play, maybe people don't understand this Tulsa situation, go play the Tulsa quarterback and then Brown or Holiday in the super flex, and now you got a lot of creativity to do whatever the fuck you want with your lineup. All right, so let's talk about it. As you can see, this game total is way higher, 58 points. They're both 14-point lines, so there's a clear favorite in both of them. Say the good thing about USF is Batty is definitely kind of their workhorse running back. He's probably going to get most of the touches. If they're keeping it close, he's probably going to have a big game. I think he's probably the best running back on this slate. Overall and price adjusted, he's probably the best one. Weaver played the shit out of that guy at cash. What was that, last weekend or whatever? And they literally just throw the ball to him every fucking play. So, and he's inefficient. I swear to God, it seemed like he had 20 targets last week and he had like 6 catches. But when you get that many targets, you're going to get there often. If you're playing a narrative that UFS is going to keep it close, you got to think that Weaver and Brown are probably a big part of that, right? You could probably even get away with a Brown, Batty, Weaver start. And if you want one other guy, the other guy that's on the field the most is Jimmy Horn Jr. So he's viable if you want to run kind of a contrarian stack with USF, right? So there you go with that. The good thing about USF is it does seem like most of their usage is going to be concentrated, so there is something to be said about that. A 22-point total is basically as high as San Diego State. So Tulsa's kind of the creme de la creme tonight with the big team total. The big news is going to be, are they going Braxton? Are they going Bryn? Or maybe they do like they did last week and they just let them both play. I don't know if they both really played last week. It was Bryn blowing for a quarter, and then Braxton just came in and took over. So Prince is their bell cow running back. As you see, he gets about 15 touches a game, but I'm just going to be honest with you. Dude fucking sucks. He's so inefficient. He's had one big game all year. Other than that, he sucks. I think he is a fine play in GPPs. He has upside. Plus, he's a great way to go in here and pilfer all the Tulsa stacks because so many people are going to play Tulsa quarterback with Stokes, Santana, and Epps. Those guys get a lot of targets. They all have big upside, right? So maybe you fade all that or fade most of that and then just come in here and play Prince, hope he has his 40-point game and he completely counterfeits Braxton, Stokes, Santana, and Epps, right? That's up to you. I will say this. I don't love playing both the Tulsa running game and the Tulsa passing game. I'm doing one or the other. But maybe they could both get there. Maybe it's Braxton, Prince, and Stokes is the key. I don't know. That's up to you, Bob. I'm just telling you, I think Prince is just, you're paying $6,700 for a guy that's probably going to get you 12 points. He might get you 40 though, and when you got a guy that could get you 8 points or a guy that get you 40, that's kind of the definition of a GPP play, right? The wide receivers for him, Stokes is the best wide receiver on the slate. He's going to probably get as many targets as Weaver, but he's just a lot more efficient. They have a bigger team total. You got to like him. But Santana and Epps are always on the field. They get a lot of nice targets. They could be great secondary stacks. Or if you want to just take the chance that maybe this is a Santana game or an Epps game, if one of them has a big game, that dramatically reduces the chances of Stokes also having a big game. And that's a way you could, maybe get leverage on 80% of the field, because I got to imagine he's going to be mega chalk tonight, especially with how soft these prices are. All right, best quarterback on the slate, Jalen Maiden. He would be made in my cash lineup if I were making one. He just, he gets it done with his legs. He passes pretty well. He's the best quarterback on the slate. Plus, we know we don't have to worry about like some weird Bryn Braxton timeshare type thing at Tulsa. So I think he's a quarterback. He's the number one quarterback on the slate. In my opinion, I feel the most comfortable with him. Second highest team total. I think this game is going to be higher than 25-11, just my opinion. Probably my second favorite running back on the slate is this Jalen Armstead. Their running back situation is a clusterfuck there, but he does seem to be the lead of a pretty big committee. So I think we could probably assume he's going to get 10 to 15 touches, and at 4,000, he gets one touchdown, you're there. And on a slate where there's just no running back value, you got to play two fucking running backs. And I think most people are going to play Batty and Prince. Well, I say just go play Batty and Armstead, and then just go spend that extra money on the receiving pieces. And then on some lineups where you do spend it at Prince, just know you're going to have to punt on some receivers. So there you go. Their wide receivers, none of them are special. Shavers and Matthews are on the field the most. Mekhi Shaw is a punt if you want one. I think if you're going to play Maiden, you got to run him out there with at least one of his pass catchers. None of them are cash worthy or really good enough to call high upside because, they only get 5 targets a game. But I guess if I had to rank them, I'd probably go Matthews 1, Shavers 2, Shaw 3. If you want to get tricky and stack this game, run a Maiden and then Holiday in the Superflex, I think that's a sharp play. No one's going to stack this game. If you're trying to win a GPP, maybe this game ends up shooting out. That's a common thing I do. In NFL Showdown, I love to stack the underdogs. And in college football, 2-game slates, I like to go stack the game that is going to be less chalky. Because, people just don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I've made a living in the PGA just knowing that people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They think they do. They think they're smart, but they're not. So, over here for New Mexico, Wysong's their top wide receiver, and I think at 6,200, people are going to see how few points. I think he legit averages like 7 points a game, but he is the number one wide receiver there. He will probably get the most targets, and you can afford to pay for an overpriced Wysong whenever you are paying down at Holiday. I think he's a very logical one. Porter came back last week, seemed to be pretty involved. He's definitely the number 2. Erickson had been the number 3 all year, but for whatever reason last week, Deuce Jones got a lot of run, so he could be your mega punt. I think I would like Jones over Erickson just based on what we saw last week. If you're going long-term, who's had more? It's Erickson. If you're going short-term, it's Deuce Jones. And you're like, I don't want to play these icky guys. It's a 2-game slate. You're going to have to play some icky fucking players, okay? By the way, it's a 2-game slate with 4 slapdick teams. So there you go. We've talked about it. The editor will get ownership out here in a little bit, but I think that this is pretty much the final. I'm telling you, the only thing we got to watch, Bryn or Braxton, who's starting. I will probably not be around to babysit that tonight, so, I hope some of you guys in the Discord, Asaqual seems to kind of be the leader of that. Cowboy Poke does a good job. If you see news, share it. Don't be, you guys are all pretty cool. Never been an issue. And then even if you do get news that Bryn's playing or Braxton's starting or whatever it is, you still got to ask yourself the question, is there a chance of a timeshare? If he goes out and has 2 bad drives, is he going to have does he get a short leash, so to speak? So that's what I'd be doing. I'll probably do some lineups tonight just because I've been on a fucking heater, and it's kind of like, when you're playing poker and you're on a heater, just get your fucking chips in the middle as often as possible. I killed PGA again today and yesterday, and I've killed NCAA for the last 2 weeks. Won at NFL last Sunday. Things are running good. And when they're running pure, you only get, if you're lucky, you get 2 or 3 of these a year. You get it in while you can. So we're getting it in there while we can. I will be playing only GPPs tonight, probably chasing the 10 grand, even though it's a negative EV tournament. I don't give a fuck. I'm playing with the house's money right now. And honestly, on a slate like this, I don't think people are going to be savvy enough to kind of pick the right plays. So I'll zig when everybody zags tonight and see if it pays off like it has been. All right, guys, good luck tonight. If you have any questions, DM me. I will be around the DMs or even in the college football chat, right? Let me know if you need anything. I'm always here for you. Appreciate all the support. Good luck tonight, fellers.